That's all it is.
Yeah, honey, I know. I know. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you coming on. Hold on one second. Yeah, honey. Yeah, I'm in the studio. I'm about to go. Damn, yeah, it was only one or two pictures, and it was just cause 10. Yeah, it was 10. You counted them. Huh. Well, I liked them all because she had a fat. I gotta go. Love you. Bye. Taking no shorts. Coming right up.
We talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
Now I gotta talk, we all gotta be quiet. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
And now your host, Taking No Shorts podcast, Jay Grizzy.
I think I got it right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome to Taking No Shorts podcast, episode 78. An impromptu, you were going to get a pre-recorded Taking No Shorts, but couldn't let that happen. Make sure you like, share, subscribe anywhere where you find your favorite podcast. You'll hear this wonderful, alluring voice. Also, every Friday around this time, you can catch Taking No Shorts live streaming at the following channels. That's YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at Taking No Shorts Pod. This thing has been moving right along. That thing I'm referring to is the podcast. And I would like to personally thank everybody that has been catching the vibe, so to speak, with Taking No Shorts, participating in it. Good input, bad input, no opinion. I'm always trying to improve. So I like to thank all the supporters and all the critics and all the haters. Hold on, let me get my board straight tonight.
Exactly.
It's a new laptop type of situation. Now that I got that out the way, usually you would see on Taking No Shorts, you would see guests, right? But tonight there is no guest. Every once in a while, I pop out and just do a whole podcast, just solo dolo. And the reason I do that is because sometimes this, I'm all about letting the guests, I'm guest oriented. I'm very sociable, but I don't know, man. I just got to get this off of my talk about this to the world, do my part. And you might be wondering, well, Grizzy, what the hell are you talking about? Like I said, this is Friday, November the 1st, and we are 4 days away from one of probably the most influential national presidential elections in the 50 years of the founding of this country, right? And being that I come from a history background as far as education and political science as well, never graduated, but just an avid reader, avid historian, and historical buff. I don't know, like Kamala's Vice President Harris said, she's looking to get jobs to folks who don't have 4-year degrees. And that's a lot of people, but some people still would not pull the lever. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that tonight. Big shout out to Cousin John. What up, cuz? I see you. John is one of the biggest supporters earlier on of Taking No Shorts coming through. So I appreciate you, cuz. Yeah, so I was like, look, just give me an hour of your time tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because I put it in the Facebook post. Everybody got one, so here's mine, and I'm not talking about my a-hole. You did?
Exactly.
No, I am talking about my thoughts and opinions, unabated. Unless you come in these pause, you can get in these comments, and you can have a debate with me about, or not a debate, but you can share your comment on what I'm going to say tonight. And I'm first going to start off by saying that whatever happens after November the 5th or afterwards, like January before election or inauguration, my melanin will not allow me not to say to the world, you know, we've been here before, guys. Our ancestors have been here before. And I shared this story early on in Taking No Shorts, but I don't think, because folks, the history is mystery, like folks, everybody's got their own, in this day and age, their own version of history. And they're also their own version of facts, or what some people say alternative facts.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm I was big on history and knowing like stuff from the past, because that kind of would tell you where you're at and where you're going. And I was just an avid learner in that field. So I'm speaking tonight first from that kind of point of view. This is not the open mic Jay Grizzly. This is not the Black Dick Cavett host. Jay Grizzly. This is not the fun loving. Well, I'm gonna drink me a glass of wine, you dig? But I ain't gonna do anything else y'all use. So indulge me, ladies and gentlemen, just for a second. Not supposed to eat on the air, but it is what it is. So yeah, I'm coming from that point of view, from that background, and I wanted to say, like, I started out the outline for the show. The media and everybody else is always asking this question, like, how did we get here? How? We as a country, all right, you guys, if you're going to do 2 different countries, 3 different countries, we all live in the United States of America, whether we want to or not. Okay? So all that PC talk and that gotcha talk, I ain't fucking with that tonight. You can get in the comments with me on that, but not episode 78. I'm not the one. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Exactly.
But in the bigger scheme of things, we all have, our ancestors have been here before. Whether it be, Jim Crow, voter suppression sounds familiar. These are not alternative facts, okay? That happened. We've been told this is why they doing it. This is why, and I don't try to do a lot of pronouns, but I'm trying to stay where this don't get, this stream don't get shut down on the internet. I don't want that type of attention. Well, Cass is like, we gonna ban him. Ooh. Because I said something. You could do, if you're gonna ban me, anyway. Whether it was the earliest 20th century post-Civil War era, Jim Crow, whether it was the antebellum South during the Civil War era, or whether it was colonial times where the country was first founded, or whether it was pre-colonial times where very, very, very little. It was the Wild Wild West, if you know what I mean. But folks that look like us or look like me anyway, or have a black African American, our ancestors have been here before. And it harkened me back to, well, how would they have dealt with all of this? How would it, if back in those times, back in the ancestors' times, how would my ancestors, because everybody got ancestors, but mine specifically, because I did the work. How would they handle it? And then luckily, I came upon one of those historical societies, right? Because trust me, historical societies, if you ever notice where you live at anywhere in the United States, there's always one in that town. That's to make, my hunch is to, when they doing all these litmus tests and to make sure you say who you say you is, those papers in those historical societies are kept for a reason. To say that you begat from somebody that you begat because, again, we're only 250 some odd, 240 to 50 years old. Oh, wait, that's not a long time, but it's enough for you to think that you can sneak in. That's what those historical societies are. Because they'll pull back the curtain and bring you in there, and you think that you come from this, that, and the third. But trust me, folks of whatever put in a state historical society to keep archives and papers, they're going to pull them papers out. And they're going to say,
a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit.
And that's the nice way they're going to say it. That's the nice way they're going to say it. They might not be nice. They might do what they're trying to do today. They might do it. But anyway, I harkened back and I thought about, wow, what did my ancestors do? And one of the historical societies where my family is from, on my maternal side, there was a narrative. And the narrative asked Nanny Atkins, my third or fourth great maternal grandmother, because they was asking, what did you do? Or stories was passed down on what happened when the Union Army came around Lee, because it didn't get through at Cold Harbor, so he just came down to get to Petersburg, and he went through Charles City. And it was 4 days of Union troops marching through slave quarters, slave owners' property. The Confederates ran as cowards, is what they would do, And she said that they hid. Because even though the Union Army was fighting for, they were emancipated by that time, but fighting for folks like her to get some semblance of, because when I say freedom, I know Cat's gonna be like, nah, we never free. But just a little bit of an inch of progressivism towards righteousness, towards justice, just a little bit, right? And she said, well, no, we didn't go out and welcome I'm giving you the story because all of this is going to play back in. And Brother John, I appreciate you, brother. I'm going to get your comments in just a few. She said, no, we didn't welcome the Union Army, even though they're supposed to come and quote unquote free us. We hid because if they was hungry, they was going to come take our food. If they wanted to, we were still at the mercy of an army. And even, if you coming out of slavery and you see a whole army come down your road, ain't like you go, oh, thank you, Mr. Candy. I always call him Mr. Candy. Shout out.
Exactly.
Thank you for, they hid. And which was the right thing to do because she had children. She didn't want a soldier to get out of hand or a stray bullet or something. And they hid. And when asked about, this comes from one of her grandsons, a cousin of mine, and he passed away, maybe 10, 15 years ago. He was retelling this story for the Historical Society. And he said that, the reason why they hid was because the Union Army, again, would have taken advantage of them and used them as contraband to help the war effort. It's like an involuntary draft, where you're a free person of color, but the army come through, what you gonna do? And so I parlay that to say that if there is turmoil in the country between those brethren, right? The lesson I took from that story that I read was y'all can fight over here, okay? And you might can fight over there. You might can argue and have insurrections and all of that. But my ancestors told me, y'all could just keep us out of it. That's my first inkling, is to keep me in mind. When I say me in mind, I'm representing. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me to represent brothers and sisters. If you fucking with Taking No Shorts pod, let me get to John's comments, cousin John, and then I'll get back to my soliloquy. John says, everyone who accepts 45 in any form is an evil person, and he capitalized that. No.
Exactly.
I have my ticket to my DR home ready to go, brother. You see?
Exactly.
He owned it. He owned it. If I'm coming back, will be determined on the 5th. Not the 1st, not the 2nd, not the 3rd, not the 4th, not the 4th, but the 5th. That brother got that freedom. And the way cousin John walks, he ain't lying, guys. He ain't lying. Next comment from cousin John. Remember, there were many years before the Union than there were after. We're looking at more like 500 years of the same BS. Yeah, there was. Oh yeah, I agree. I'll give you that. I'm always saying one of the ethoses of Taking No Shorts is I'm with you till I ain't. And so I agree with you, because I can't think of a few years, maybe a decade, where this country was founded and it wasn't some type of violence or war or something, whether it was internal or external. And I don't want the internal. Trust me, I do not want that. I do not. But history is telling me the way that this thing is acting up. It's a mirror, and it definitely, like John, it's gonna let you know it ain't a two-way mirror neither. Well, no, it is. Like when you look in the mirror, you looking at it back. You can't go straight through. So it's a perfect reflection, a mosaic, so to speak, of 248, 540, whatever the years is, of this experiment. And that's all it was an experiment. And they've been trying to improve. And then I said online, one step forward, two steps back. Well, that's in scores. For every 1 year, they trying to get 20 years back. And the more and more, it's just a race. The reason why I think we are here outside of the history, in my opinion, is there has been for, I would say, 60 years, maybe 70, since the Brown versus Board of Education, a watering down of education, economic, the lines have been drawn on education through economic lines. And for much of the attempt, it has been to bring education to the forefront in this country for the last 75 years or so. And that's just me speaking. I'm probably thinking it's just not a priority. That's just based on the evidence. If it was a priority, then it would be it wouldn't be an issue. I'm sure the budgets that looks at, they talking about dismantling. The other side is talking about dismantling the Department of Education. People hear that and they keep hearing it and they be like, well, if it ain't fucking with my student loan, what's it to me? You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there like, well, they got standards. If you let the states have the standards and the state is gerrymandered and ran by, then your education standards are going to tank and you're not going to learn anything. And it could be generations of not having the desire to want to know what has happened in the past so you can do better going forward. Neighbors got dogs. German Shepherds, by the way. They just moved in. I think they're renters, but yeah. So education is important because if you don't know what happened in the past because ain't nobody told you or you didn't have the means or didn't want to see it for yourself, then you have no clue to put in the context what's going on November 1st, 2024. You have no, couldn't even, you couldn't even put it, you see what I mean? That's like saying, like Eddie Murphy saying, you don't know how good a Ritz cracker is because you've been eating saltines all your life. And then all of a sudden, they just withhold education from you. And yeah, of course you're gonna have outliers as folks that's getting through, and but for the most part, the majority of the populace is deaf, dumb, and blind, whether they wanted to or not. But you're not giving them access to all the education, so they can't know, and that's why they doing it. I think it was Florida. They call it DEI, diversity. I mean, they want the Republicans, the right, the fascists, the Nazis. They don't want the history to be out there. If they did, then people can see, oh, that's what they be on. I don't know if I'm good with that. Some I might, we're here. This is why we're here. Because according to polls, about half of the country is like, yeah, I can go to a fascist Nazi rally in the biggest city in the country. I can buy a ticket for that and be proud. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, longtime friend. Shout out to you, bro. And he was like, I don't understand. It's like a lot of folks are in that state, like, I can't, how did we get here? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Bro, he gave this guy playing these folks battery in the back, and you just play on people's fears. It's like a horror movie. If you're really afraid of horror movies, like my better half, and when we used to go see horror movies, when they come to that scene, she couldn't, she had to put her, that's a natural reaction, because you don't want to see all the gore that comes with horror. Some people are just, let me see. I want to see it. I want to see it. Yeah, let me see. Oh, we can go back to this? Oh, this man said I could do this? Let me see. Oh, now once he saw he could he could peel that layer like an onion of that racism that was pressured and society put to the corners of your mind, let alone the economy and 9/11 and I'm your neighbor, and all he needed was you to say, let me see. Now he got you. Now you're in a rabbit hole. Now you with Q. Now you with QAnon, and you on these online websites, chat rooms and shit, reinforcing all that stuff that all he did was peel back. It was there, but the world had it, corner. You can't, people gonna be prejudiced. Hell, I'm prejudiced against some shit. But I ain't got no systematic racist power to do anything or want to do anything about it. I ain't got it in me. Don't want to. I don't want to keep it down just because I feel some kind of way about you. Fucking get money, man. But he pulled that layer back. So now you say, let me see. He pulled a layer back. You're in. Now you in, and you can't. There was a way for you to jump off that racist boat, and that was Charlottesville. There was a way for you to jump off that boat, even if you was a supporter of his. But you didn't do it. And you tried to find ways to excuse it. And for me, that told me everything I needed to know. And I want to say that was 2016, 2017, about the supporters. Because if you're still rocking through that, let alone everything else led up to 2016. I hate to bring up old stuff because it's not. It's just, why are we here? And we are here, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we are here because of the dreaded R word. I don't know. I don't want the internet to shut this thing down, but it is very alive and well. And if you didn't, or you didn't believe that it was around, I think I got okay, can I know me? Anyway, then it's real. So it didn't hide itself. It just got pulled back. It got pulled back. And so now that we're here, people always say, how we got here. Look, I told you, history says, it could have happened. Mixed that with a little bit of racism. Let me find this motherfucker to block him. Because he finna get on my last nerve. Matter of fact, let me just turn off the comments. There we go. Now, I mean, if you do your history, if you know history, there's that what happened in Madison Square Garden was not the first time. If you go back and look, 1939, pre-Civil War for the United States, but Nazism was on the rise, and United States was pretty down with it. They had some traction. And they held a rally, same place where this last week's rally was held. Same situation. Everything matched. Even worse, they was talking. They was in their bag in the racist shit. They was in their racist bag that day. I cut the TV on to catch the dudes And he's talking about shout out to the Puerto Rico.
Exactly.
Yeah. Keep y'all. Puerto Rico gonna show up and show out in Pennsylvania, Allentown to be exact. I still do like watermelon, by the way. I don't eat as much as I did when I was coming up, but the intent of the joke was very racist. So if you have 25,000 people, 20, I don't know what MSG holds now. I want to say it's about 22, 23,000 people show up, and all of this stuff is talked about openly. Not in no secret society room, not in some special meeting behind the Moose Lodge. This is happening in the middle of Times Square or Midtown Manhattan. And, and you mean to tell me? No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. How do we get here? I'm gonna take my time tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's real. I wish I had to drop that Carter B said at the beginning of coronavirus. Shit is real. And people are walking around, some, not all. Shout out to the women around the world, or in the United States, that's going to really show y'all how it's supposed to be done, especially black women. But it's real. And it is very important for you to vote. People count on, they do go out of their way to make sure, just in the state of Virginia, where taking those shorts is domicile. They moved 1,600 people off the rolls. I think this is what I'm getting off what I saw in a news report. And out of that 1,600, because they say they were non-citizens, they were actual citizens. So please, wherever state you are in, check your registration if you're going to go to the polls on November 5th. Why would people try to suppress your vote? Well, again, let's historically go back to Reconstruction after the South was conquered and beat. And in order for the South to come back to the United States, they had to agree to these amendments, 13, 14, 15. Can't hold nobody as a slave. Black man gets the right to vote. Black women didn't until the suffrage movement, and really didn't until the Voting Rights Act. That's only 50, 60 years ago. And then the citizenship rule. All of those rules, those laws, can't have nobody as a slave. The black man, later the black woman, has the right to this franchise, to vote, to have a say in their citizens. They've been here. People fought, black and white, died, and had a whole thing about it. A lot of people died. People don't understand that. I want to say, and if I had the technology, somebody could say, what is the equation of KIA wounded and missing in today's population numbers? Because I want to say it was like 600,000 in the in 1860s. That would be like 3 coronaviruses of people dying. Because a million of people died on that guy's watch, by the way. Y'all don't remember that. Oh, you're peeling back that layer. Says so it wasn't a virus. It was the zombie. So 1 million people could have been your mom, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your granddad, your grandmother. I knew people that died because of that virus and the incompetence of people in government. So notice I say people in government. Y'all can say however you want to. But if you got real good leadership and you got some kumquats about yourself, then vaccines, oh, okay. You can take a vaccine and it'll help. I'm not gonna say it's gonna cure anything. Now, they told the whole world vaccines are not okay. Like they had me fucked up because I said, Mom, go with me to go get my first COVID vaccine. And because my mom know, I'm not afraid of shit, I'm afraid of needles or anything. But just the misinformation, the craziness. How the hell did I go to school? I remember taking a tetanus shot to go to college because I ain't never had a tetanus shot. I think I stepped on a nail when I was like 8 years old. So there's like, yo, to get into college, you got to take a tetanus shot. I was like, what? Oh, fuck. What am I? I'm 18. What are you saying I got? Maybe they was pulling the wool over my eyes. I don't know. But I was like, okay. But this time, and it was no big deal. This time, I was like, yo, I might fuck around and transform into a goddamn Ghost Rider or some shit. And if I do, I want my mama to be with me. You know what I mean? Fuck all that. And I was like, damn, I'm so stupid for even buying into some of that bullshit.
A bullshit?
But a lot of people did, and a lot of people died because of it. And he went out there and co-signed all of it. And y'all sitting there saying, well, let me remember the movie. I want to say it was Hannibal, Ray Liotta, FBI detective, was getting close. He got drugged by Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal Lecter. Speaking of Hannibal, because this guy ran. And what he did was he was feeding him his own brain. The dude was alive. So, he was with it. He was a little drugged up, but his head was, I'm describing it to you. I don't know which movie. I want to say it's called Hannibal. But I remember seeing that movie and I was like, yo, how sick do you have to be as a human being to drug someone, lobotomize them, cut their brain out, cook it, and feed it back to them? That's what you guys are experiencing. That's what I see. And every time y'all cutting up, every time he throws some bait out for y'all shithole countries, y'all. What he call say about Puerto Rico? Something in the ocean. My black friend sure does love watermelon. Y'all just eating your whole brains from the inside out. Shit's hilarious to me. Because I know y'all just keep doing it. They're fascists. Some of them are Nazis. And it all comes from racism. It ain't never going nowhere. But now you got to combine it with something. Because racism and fascism has always been a part of the American situation. But how do you get to rise? Because usually we had it clamped down, like it was in small pockets. It never could get to a rise of the levels that it's at now. Do y'all ever notice that? Think about I'm going to say 30 years ago, the 90s. You had races, you had Klan rallies and stuff, and people laughed at shit like that. It would get played and put on the, it had no legs. It was there, but it didn't have any legs. So how does it get legs? Right, that's the question you're asking your boy Jay Grizzy.
Exactly.
I'm glad you asked. I'm finna tell you. You put money that racism, and you get that thing going on a nice, smooth trail or nice straight through the politics, if somebody want it bad enough, in this country, it can happen. And you know why? Because they proven it. It's been proven. It's been proven. The law was corporations are people too. And so they have the right to free speech. I forgot the rule that the Supreme Court, I want to say it's Dobbs. So I donate whatever I can afford through my means to support a candidate, right? Used to be corporations and PACs and all. It wasn't, the money wasn't so crazy. This election, I think, is being spent like $2 billion. The emails that I get per day requesting donations and the scams that y'all getting. Who's to say? I know y'all gonna say, well, who's to say when you're giving your money to a candidate that you're not getting scammed? You're right. Okay. I'm gonna give you that one. I don't know. I just trust that I'm giving my money to the right thing. I've been proving this guy's scamming you. Cut your brain. So once that interpretation of a law was opened by the Supreme Court, now corporations can come in and dump whoever runs it or whoever pulls the levers of that thing, and especially if they are racist or they have a certain agenda, then they can pull the levers and they can open the doors and say, "Hey, yeah, you got to find the solution." Don't know how to get there, but to get the money, and this is the only argument I give folks who are disenchanted with participating in a democracy, right? They say, well, it's all a game. It's all a racket. And when they tell me that, that's the part I can't argue with them on. But I still am forever the optimist. I'm going to participate because people died for me to have the right to vote. I was taught to have some form of self-determination regardless of the country I reside in or the country of my citizenship. That's just how it's just in me. I don't know about y'all. But yeah, you get that money and that politics mixed with a little bit of racism. Now they cooking. Now it's cooking. And now we can come out the shadows, peel that onion back on that potato head and just chew on your brains just a little bit more. Now they coming for the women. Because now they say, now that we got our foot back in this dough, we got to see how we can hold on to this power. Because that's all this is a power move. For however long they're going to have it until the pendulum swing back again, if that's to happen. I hope it doesn't. Don't want it to. Exercise your right. Vote. Donate. Do your part. I'm doing mine. So now that they got this little bit of power, this power grab, or this power move, how do they sustain it against the numbers that it's being counted in every census probably since 1980? Oh, well, now we're so evil. Evil is the word for tonight. You did?
Exactly.
We want to tell women, all the women in the country, when they can have a baby. Or you can't the term, you get, not even that with the IVF, but regardless of your circumstance or your circumstances, you carrying the term, whether you was raped, whether your life is in danger, whether the baby's life is in danger. And we're going to take that decision out of your hands. The audacity.
Exactly.
Coming from a great black woman. The audacity. And now I'm saying to myself, you going back to that? Now that you done tried everything else? Evil. Evil.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Tell him, Jesse the body. Evil. I can't wrap my mind around it. This is what I hear a lot. How can somebody else, a group of people, or so many people be so evil? Easy. You got to have something to hate. You got to have something to hate. You got to have a foil. And if people tell you who your foil is or who your enemy is all the time, beating it in your head for 200 and some odd years. And here's the funny part to me. Here's my ADD kicking in. We ain't even asked to be here. Y'all brought us over here. Then when you got conscious, when some of your friends and cousins got a conscience, say, you know what, y'all did some dirtball shit. Let them people go. Y'all say, hell no. And they get damn near killed. I think it's 3 out of every 5 white men in the South was either killed or wounded. You willing to put your send your sons out here to die? I guess we should be saying the same thing. We need to. Y'all gonna say that's a little bit revolutionary, but my cousin John said, we'll see where it lands on after the 5th. Getting to the tail end of Taking No Shorts podcast. I'm your host, Jay Grizzly Green, a.k.a. Mr. Leave No Meat on the Bone.
Exactly.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe anywhere where you find your favorite podcast. Also, every Friday around this time, you can catch the live stream at the following channels: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, all at Taking No Shorts Pod. That's spelled TakinNoShortspod. Women, please. Ain't but so many persuadable voters out there. So they are getting down to the very, very, very. So I'm talking to whoever is getting this podcast tonight or whoever's getting this clips when the clips come out. If you see this before Tuesday the 5th and you sitting there saying, I can't. Fuck, I'm going to do that for. Shit going to change. You're wrong. And they're going to show you. They fit to show you. They banking on somebody like you to not show up and vote. Because then that helps them get their way. And their way going to affect you. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you. I bet you if you introduce yourself to me and I talk to you for 5 minutes, I bet you lunch, I could tell you, I could tell you how the government affects you. In a negative way and in a positive way. But there are different sides to it. How can somebody, anyway. Women need to get out there and vote. That then brings me to the black man, because that's who I am, goddammit.
Exactly.
Bro, I had the hashtag out there. You can't sit this one out. Your skirt, your slipper showing. Why was, because I didn't never believe it, but why was the media and then why is y'all, let's say this. Let's be fair, let's be clear. Why was I getting all of this media about the black man poo-pooing on Kamala Harris? Then I'm getting all this, the black man is hating the black woman. Then I'm getting all of that. Why would the media want me to think that? Then I'm saying to myself, hey, ain't but one person I know that could talk like that. And I don't even think they buy that bullshit. There was about a week ago, I saw a lot of stuff about Democrats panic a lot. They do when it comes to elections. If you're not nervous about an election, you don't care. You think you got it in the bag, and that's a stupid mindset to have going into an election. So I didn't buy that, but I talked to a couple of people very close to, and I was just giving them room to hear their opposition in the beginning. This was in the summer when they did the switch, or Biden stepped down. And they're gonna chew that up. The switch. No, Biden stepped down. He couldn't win, and Kamala stepped in. And I still think that was a good move. And some of the stuff I was hearing from men that are close to me, I'm saying, where you get this shit from? Who, where, how, what, why? Who told you this? How did you get? I know you better than this, bro. I do. IG. I know these people better than that. And they was like, nah. And I'm like, slow down for a moment and understand what you're saying. Because you might be saying what you're saying to me under, I hope it ain't under duress, but under some type of illusion or some type of spell. I think it might be called bullshit.
A bullshit?
Misinformation.
A bullshit?
Ignorance.
A bullshit?
Not doing your due diligence.
A bullshit?
And then if you on the other side, if you really sipping that Kool-Aid and say, no, I did my research, please show me your work.
A bullshit?
Exactly.
A bullshit? A bullshit.
Show me your work. That's what they did in school, but you might not have had, I tell you, you might have had the opportunity to have an education. You just wasn't fucking paying attention. And so now, here we are, and because half the goddamn country won't paying attention to shit, we might lose a democracy. Take the money out of it, it would be, but I get it, guys. I get it. So you say, yeah, but so if the money mess up the democracy, fuck the whole thing. No, you can't fuck the whole thing. I'm with you till I ain't. You can't do, if she lets you hit the first time raw, you can't go back the second time. You got lucky. This is the part of the podcast. You got lucky. And now you're going back. Nigga. Now you get everything you deserve. And that's how a lot of cats was sounding to me. Like, you mean to tell me because of whatever you got to say, if you did a crime and she's a prosecutor and she prosecuted you, you mad at her, you will allow this dude to come back into power over her because if your bigger argument is the drug laws, okay. But what she doing her job, bro? What the fuck you got? What? Over him? Him? I'm sorry, I didn't get the. My hands are here. There's a reason why my hands are here. This misinformation shit, this conspiracy shit, y'all is. I'm gonna save it, but this is another reason why we here. One of the reasons we are here is that once the internet came and everybody had access, y'all started using those AOL discs and those free minutes or whatever. Once they figured out they could rent out the internet to y'all,
Exactly.
and you can get on here and be who you want, show who you want, act like who you want. You can put out and say anything. And people be like, yeah. How? I mean, I know how. I do know how. But what has happened is it's a bunch of people saying shit and it's not even true. It's not even real. And then how you know it's real? How you know? Well, give me your face in a situation and let me smack the shit out you. And then come back and tell you, you ain't feel that.
Exactly.
My hand ain't move that fast.
Exactly.
That ain't no blood on your lip.
Exactly.
You can sit your ass down now.
Exactly.
And then, that's how y'all sound to me. You got to deal with facts. Not alternative, not opinion, not folk tales, not facts. A big bibliography, motherfuckers. Shit. And because of that, here we are now with everybody thinking they know everything and don't know shit. And it's just acceptable to everything. I just saw in the news before I came out to shoot the stream. One of the richest men in the world is putting out fake shit on his platform saying 3 Haitians had fake IDs and got the right to vote. And people just running away with it. And then if you got that layer, I want to say it's Hannibal. Watch it. Ray Liotta. And it wasn't Jodie Foster. It was the redheaded lady that played it. I don't want to mess up her name, but I like her as an actress. He sedated Ray Liotta. He then opened up his head, broke his skull, peeled out a piece of his brain. So now he's like, cooked it and fed it to him. And that's what that misinformation shit sounds like when y'all tell me, well, I can't do this and I can't do that because this and that and because the flat earth and because what? What? Or it's not really 365 days in a year. It's really 376,000, depending on what. And I'm sitting there like, who is you letting chew your brain? Shit is ridiculous. And that's what worried me. What's worrying me is that those folks cannot be reached, not going to come to the polls. The good thing is it's only coming down to 7 states. If you're a good human being, the argument, I know you're not a human being. So your thoughts and your opinions don't matter. I know. I'm only talking. You can hit that X button up there. You can hang it up. Okay. Oh. Hold on. There we go. I had to fix my headphones. I snatched it out right here. Anybody know how I can get wireless headphones for pod board to be great. It doesn't have Bluetooth on it. Just misinformation and got everybody fucked up. So I'm just talking to decent human beings. I'm not pleading, I'm not begging, because it's going to be what it's going to be. Earlier in the podcast, I gave you a historical fact. This is nothing new. I just know how to be ready, stay ready. So you and cousin John say, "Hey, we're gonna see." But it's a shame that we got to make plans like that for an election. But that, I think sometimes that's what they want us to do. They want folks to be like on edge. Like if you watch the news and the political news a lot, like they want they must have like a anxiety button that they scroll to just feel where the country's angst is, and they just scroll to like a cue ball or something. I'm pausing on all that, but I'm thinking of what's the little ball? There was a video game that had a ball you could just spin a centipede. It's some dude at a major cable news network in the back playing America's angst for this election, like centipede. And I had to cut that shit off and just deal with what's real. What's real is what I see. I got time to try to look behind. I don't have time to look behind what I see to interpret what I see. So I think the challenge is to what that Taking No Shorts is saying is between now and Tuesday the 5th or whenever this thing shakes out and shakes down, America, I go by what I see. And I want to see this country move forward with Kamala Harris. That's what I want to see. What y'all gonna show me, I'm gonna still see. Either way. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it right there because I'm finna go. Look, if I was about to go, I almost blacked out. I told y'all I won't get an entertainment Jay Grizzly tonight. Episode 78 is a done deal. Do your due diligence. Vote. Do not leave any meat on that bone. Vote your interests. Vote for democracy. Vote for your future of your family. Vote against something. Vote against fascism. Vote against Nazis. Vote against racism. Vote against rapists. Vote against thieves. Vote against goddamn narcissists. Vote against something. You ain't got to vote for anything. I just named some shit that I wouldn't want nobody to be. Anyway. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe anywhere where you find your favorite podcast. Also, every Friday around this time, live streaming at the following channels: Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, all at the title Taking No Shorts, right there. You can put the apostrophe on it. You don't have to put it. It doesn't matter. Taking No Shorts Pod. I am your host, Jay Grizzly Green, aka voting in 2024 for democracy against fascism, against misogyny, against Nazis, against fascists. Okay? That's my time and I'm out.